Hello, how are you? I'm going to share my screen, which will show you what I'm doing with the latest. Hopefully I got the right screen. This is so hard to take a look, but I'm not sure it's the right screen. Okay, you share. Looks like the right screen. Okay. All right. So what I'm showing you here is the new indicators that have been created for those stochastics and my process to go down the list as to how to trade any given pair. So I'm trading the pound dollar. My indicators on the main screen, basically these are just the European Open and the US Open. 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, then I have the snatcher balls. The blue balls are the 4-hour balls, and the orange balls are the daily. Okay, so this is a daily 3 ball that I'm looking at. Below that, I have 3 stochastics: the fast, medium, and slow. And underneath that, I have a stochastic swing entry for any given time frame. For this instance, will be the H1. Under that, I have the swing, which means both the slow and the medium have turned over, which is what this is showing. Underneath that, I have the H4 swing, and underneath that, I have the D1 swing. So I have 3 time frames swings represented here. Let me show you the inputs. So this is the current time frame. The histo width is 10, and that's all you need is the bullish. This is graduating from below 80 to above 80, and this is above 20 to below 20. That's all you need to know. On the one below that, the swing itself, it's the 1 hour swing, and then it goes aqua is 20 to 50, 50 to 80, and above 80. And the magenta is 20 to 50 to 80 to 50, 50 to 20, and then below 20. So it's showing you the gradual move of the swing itself. So what I'm looking for to start out is a daily 3 ball that I know which direction I'm trading in. After that, I'm looking to see if the H1 swing has started. And I can see from here the H1 swing has started. Now, there is no entry on the H1. The entry is designated by when all 3 are below the 50, which is right there. So there's no entry. The H4 is overbought. It's all the way above 80, and therefore it's not ready. And the daily hasn't started to swing down. So how do I trade this? If I use the H1 trend, H1 swing, basically, I can go down to the 5-minute chart and say, okay. And on this one, I have the 15 H1, and that's it, because the H1 is my direct swing for the 5-minute. And I come in over here, the European Open, that's where I start my trading day. And I say, okay, the H1 is swinging up now. So this is not yet ready for me. Then the H1 starts to swing down, but I have a 2-ball retracement, so I need to wait for that to finish. And that finishes over here. And once it finishes, I have to get a 5-minute entry, right? So I get a 5-minute entry here, but the 15 is not ready, right? So the 15 gets ready over here. That is my entry. The one at the bottom is basically when the close happens below the two moving averages, and this is on a 1 hour. So so I'm getting a moving average trend, a stochastic trend, and a stochastic entry. And there's my entry, okay? Now, since I'm trading on the 5-minute, I'm looking for the 15-minute swing to end. Because the H1 is my trend, 15-minute is my trading time frame, and the 5-minute is my entry time frame. So if I want to have additional lots to trade or additional trades to take, I just wait for another entry here after a black space. And I can take another entry here, right there, and another entry here. If you notice, all these entries are when the fast moves up and comes back down, gets back into trend, goes back up, comes back down, goes back up, comes back down. Where's my exit? My exit is when the 15 goes black. So my exit is here. Okay, that's my exit bar. So how did I do on this trade? This is a doji. Not showing the dojis. So this happened. Get 3 pips out of that. 12 pips out of that. That's 15, 39, and 45. So that's 94 pips. Okay. Now what do I do? All right. So that trade is over. I can now go into the US session, which is this box, and wait for an entry, right? So the entry happens here. As you can see, everything is lined up. Then I have another entry here. I have another entry right there. And that's it before the 15 goes out. And the 15 goes out over here. This one I lost 11 pips, got 6 pips, 15. So I made 4 pips on this. So 90 plus 4, 94. And I'm done with my trading for that day. That's it. So that's 94 pips on 23rd of January. And I'll make a note of these. Where's my notepad? Okay. So 1, 3, 23, 94. Now, I come in the next day and start the process again. Here's the next day, right? So I come and take a look. H1 is not ready. And this is where the H1 gets ready, right? I know I'm going short. I have a 2-ball. I can say, okay, let me just drop down to the 5 and wait for my entry, right? And there's my 2-ball on the 1 hour. And I say, where's my entry? 1 hour gets engaged over here. And here's my first entry, right? Where's my second entry? Second entry is all the way down here. My 15 is still going strong. I don't get any other entry before I get an exit over here. And that is break even on this one and 73 pips. 73, it's just the Euro session. Let's see what the US session offers. Go in and look to see if there's an entry. There's an entry here. Exit is here. And this is break even. So I made 73 pips today on the 24th. Now I'm going back to look at this condition on H1. And H1 5 minutes. So H1 has turned over. This orange ball represents the H1 ball, and it's going long. What do I do if it's going long? Can I take these trades? Sure, I can risk it. But remember, the daily is going down, right? So now it's the 25th. This is a counter trend trade. I'm not going to take multiple trades on a counter trend trade. This is my entry. And my exit is here. And this is break even. Okay. Now here's another entry short. And this is also break even. You can see that. Or when it turns blue, it comes out. Still break even. No money here. Okay. So the 25th was a no trade day. I'll note that down. All right, let's go to the next day. Remember, I'm only looking for shorts, right? So now I am on the 26th. And I get a yellow ball. On this yellow ball, my 1 hour has started to swing down. So let's look on the 5 minute. What do I get? Get an entry right there. And an exit right there. And that's 13 pips. So 1, 26, 23, 13 in the Euro session. Now looking for a short again. The US session, there's a short. Exit is over here. And that gives me 22 pips. So total of 35. And I'm done. Okay. That's the 26th. And let's look at the 27th now. 26th. Here's the 27th. Back to the H1. And go back to the Euro Open. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing a retracement. So this looks like a no trade day. So I'll say 127, no trade. So for this week, I have 108 and 94, almost 200 pips. Okay, no sweat. Now, I said this is a no trade. I mean, there is a short trade here, but this is before my time. There is a trade here we can take a look at on Friday if you're really desperate to trade. And it is giving you an entry. So, and you can take a trade here. And this will give you, well, you get our returns blue. This is -9. Let's see in the US session if you have a trade. Not really. You can see when this kicked in, started to I mean, you can risk it, but you have to get out very quickly. So that's why 27th, no trade. Let's go to next week. So this is Monday, the 30th. Let's look at each one. And we're still in the middle of that retrace, right? The retrace ends somewhere here. And the H1 kicks in right after that bar. So if you go to 5 minute, and this is your entry, and you get a second entry with an exit over here, and you lost 10 and 15 pips. So 130, 23 is minus 15. Now let's go to the US session. US session, there's an entry here, and there's an entry here, and you lost 8 and gained 3, so 5. So minus 20 pips for the day. And you're done for that day. Okay? Now go back to the H1 and go to Tuesday. This is Tuesday. You're coming in over here, and you can see the daily starting to turn over. Okay? The daily starts to turn over. Your time frames are going to shift. H4 is swinging over. H4 is also turning over, right? So you have a choice. You can wait for a H4 retrace, which happens here. Or you can just trade the 5 minute like you're trading till you get a confirmation ball on the 4 hour. Now, when we took this trade, we started taking this trade, the 4 hour had turned over, but the daily had not, right? This is on Monday. So let's go back to that. Hard to mention that the daily is the 4 hours started to turn. And you guys saw that the blue balls had finished retracement, which is the 4 hour, as I explained before. So now your time frame is a 15 to trade, to take an entry. And at that point, I would not take this entry. I would wait for a retrace and take this entry. Okay. The reason I would take that first one is because this is just, it had already started to come down, whereas this one is a reset. This one, the magenta is also confirming, the long term is also confirming that now we are bearish, right? So here's my my entry. Now each one becomes my trading time frame. Okay, and I'll stay in the trade till this blue ball happens, right? Or the H4 goes out of sync, which happens there. And that gives me 30 pips. So instead of minus 20, I make 31. Okay. Now, H4, H1 come back into sync on Tuesday, right? Go back to the 15. And there's my entry. Back to H1. One goes out of sync here somewhere. And that's the break even, right? Now looking in this session, I'm starting a 4 hour retrace. And 4 hours trying to go down, but the price action is going up, so there's no trade, right? So Tuesday, 131. No trade. Now, come on Wednesday, you're still in the middle of a retrace till the US session. And they get into sync over here. Go down to the 15 entries over here. Now this is it's probably a news day, so you have to be careful on this one. As you can see, there's no setup. This is a risky entry because the long term is just going below the 50. So if you took an entry here, which is where it gave you the next entry, you would be in and out, right? Right there. I mean, the 4 hours not conforming anyway. Started to swing up. Now this was probably red when this happened, like that. It only turned blue when it shot up like that. Okay, so you would still have an entry here, but your exit would be almost immediate. So nothing there. Now, this is a 4 hour 2 ball. So you're back again looking for a swing down, which happened here. Okay. And trying to see where the entry is. The entry is right there. Now again, not a good entry. Here's your entry. Okay, and go back to the H1. H4 goes out of sync here. And that's 88 pips. And that's on a Thursday. What date was that? 2-2. So 2-1, 23. No, 2-2, 23, 89. Okay. So now this, you can either get out over here. Okay, you do get out over there, right? And then you look for a re-entry, which would happen. So the 4 hour starts to move down over here. Now we have to go down to the 15-minute. And the 15 minutes now going to kick in till here when the H1 comes into sync. So there's your entry right there. This is also news. You go back to H1 and you say, okay, where's my exit? Exit is somewhere here. And that's 55 pips. So 2, 3, 3, 55. Okay. Now again, you're looking for a short, which happens over here. 1 hour gets into sync. 4 hours already going short. Go to the 15. And my daily, my daily is starting to swing. So I made a mistake here. On Thursday, when everything got into sync, I'm actually looking at the H1. And that's giving me an entry. And that was 2nd of February. Okay. Now H4 becomes my trending time frame. And I'm waiting for the daily to go out of swing. And there it is. 246 pips. what date was this? So I just said 246. Okay. So or you can, exit on the 3 ball or whatever, right? Now, go back to the H1. This is a daily 2 ball. And you're doing a retracement trade on a daily, okay? So you can take long trades now. The problem is that the daily is setting off with a short. If you look at the daily time frame, you can see the stochastics is sitting down here. So this is not an ideal condition to go long, right? So you're trading the H1 and H4 now, which happens here to come into sync. H1 and H4 come into sync, becomes the 15-minute time frame entry. Actually, you can say the 5-minute time frame entry. And your entry at that point is right there. Go back. Did I get rid of the one? Somewhere in here is the entry. 5-minute. There's the entry. H1 is my intermediary. And my exit is somewhere here. Well, actually, that's not an entry because H4 is swinging. Well, it is swinging up. Okay. H4 starts to swing down somewhere here. And that's 52 pips. And let's wait. Okay. So I exited over here. Now I'm looking for a long again. And the long happens here. Right? I go back to the 5, wait for a long entry, which happens here. That's my entry. Back to the H1. And 4-hour goes out of sync here. And that's 15 pips. And that's on the 8th. So this was in the 7th. 2, 8, 15 pips. Now, looking for a long again. Here's the H1. H4 is not ready, so I can go down to the 5. 5 gives me an entry here. Back to the H1. And there's the H4 going out of sync. And that is, well, I have to consider the fact that I'm coming in the European session. Let's not lose sight of that. So there's my entry. My stop loss is here, so I'm still okay. Go to the H1. And I make my money at 74 pips. That's on 29. Remember, the daily is still pointing down. So if you look at the daily, actually, the daily is in a 2-ball retrace, right? So we are good going long. So now, when we look at this, we have a 4-hour retrace. So This is where the daily and the 4 hour are in conflict. This is basically trading the lower time frames. You're looking for shorts now. And you're going to be looking at the 15-minute trade because the 4 hours not ready. But you go to the 5. Let's move this up. And say, okay, my entry is here. Give it 15. H1 goes out of sync here. Now the H4 kicks in. I can shift my time frame to the H1 and wait. That's 45 pips. Okay. Coming on Friday as still looking for a short. The H1 kicks in over here. Go back to the 5. Five-minute gives me an entry here. And 15-minute. That's a break-even trade. Okay. And I'm still going short, so I'm looking for a trade here. This is an aggressive trade because this is just coming down. This would be the continuation trade, as they say. If I take the trade here and exit over here, that gives me 33 pips. That's the 78 pips over Friday. So this week I netted 67 plus 150, 200 some pips. Okay. I'm here on the following week. I'm going back to the H1 to reassess where I am. And I'm right here. Okay. And the 4 hour is still going down. The daily is turning down. So 15-minute, let's look at the 15-minute trade and see what we get. And there's the entry. Exit is right there. And that's 11 pips. 13, 11 pips. Now I'm looking long, right? 4 hours turn long. Let's look at the H1. Excuse me, 4 hours turn long. What is the daily doing? Daily is still long. All right, we're still in the middle of a 2-ball retrace. So we are looking for longs. Go down to the 5. And there's my trade. H1, let's see, 4 hour has kicked in. So H1 becomes my trade. And the 4 hour swing ends. Which happens on this bar. And that gives me 134 pips. So 214 times 114. Now, here's where it starts to go short, right? 1 hour is going short, 4 hours out of sync, daily is out of sync. So it's 5-minute look, or even a 1-minute look. 1 hour is poking its head down. So it's not giving you a trade. Look at the 1 minute, and there's the trade. Look at the 15. And that nets you 9 pips. So total of 123 for 14. Now, okay, I'm done for that day. Now I come in the next day, which is today, 2/15, when I'm recording this. Look at H1 and say, okay, the H1 is starting to swing, the 4 hour is starting to swing, and the 1 hour, I mean the daily swing. So this is a 15-minute entry. Which happens there. I'm looking at the H1 to see where the H4 swing ends, and it didn't end. Hasn't ended yet. And that is already 122 pips. So hopefully this gives you an illustration as to going from the 1 hour chart, determining where the trade is, and if that trade turns into a 4 hour trade or a daily trade. So if it's a daily trade, you're looking at 4 hour, right? And the 4 hour is still short. So let's summarize. How do I summarize it here? Can't summarize it here, so let's do this. Change the focus. And you can see the trades I took, right? So if I do this, this is, like I said, 120, like 210. This one here, 246, 274. This one here, 150, 165, 270. And so far this week, 245, 256. So basically, on a single lot, which is what I've done for most of these, except for that first one, the average output is between 200 and 270. So let's say about 235 pips a week. If you start doing multiple lots, then it's even better. So let's just look at that. Share screen. Share the screen again. Take this out of the way. And just look at the higher time frame, right? So we're going to look at the 1 hour and trade the daily, okay? So let's go back and say, okay, here's the 1 hour. Here's the daily turnover. There's no trade till I get over here. This is where the daily starts to turn, 4 hours starts to sink. Here's my entrance. And here's my stop loss. Here's my entry. This is a huge stop loss, right? 114, 115. So ideally, I trade on a $200,000 account, 10 lots with a 50 pip stop loss. Okay, that keeps me within the drop bound. If I have 115, that's almost like 2 something. So I can do 5 lots, maybe 4 lots, and keep within that range, right? So now I'm looking for a daily ball, which happens here. And I can, I can ignore all of this, or I can take add-ons, right? So there's my first entry. I'm going to take add-ons on the 4-hour swings, right? So this is news. So I'll wait for the news and take an entry here. Let's go to the 4-hour. Entry here. Entry here. And these are all 5-lot entries. Okay. And my exit is somewhere in here. So I have another one. But let's say I take these 3. And then I take my exit right here. So this would be 45 to 60, 600 pips in a week. That's the advantage. Now 600 pips on a 5 lots, $30,000 in that week. I still didn't violate any of the parameters, right? So like the first entry here, 100 pip drawdown on 5 lots is $5,000, well within my $10,000 daily, right? But if you look at it seriously, my entry was, say, over here, and this here, right? So this is the 31st of January and 2nd of February, right? So if I look at this on the 15-minute, and I say, okay, 15-minute is giving me a retrace. That's the 1 ball retrace. And if I look at the 4-hour, I want to take an entry here after this one. So my entry is over here. That's my second entry. Okay, this is before the news. Didn't wait for the news, right? So now my total stop loss is 50, 130. That's $6,500, right? I'm still within my limit now. What happened here is I didn't take a trade on this day. Okay. I just didn't. I could have gone short here. Satisfied the daily trade thingy and got out. Now I did take a trade here. The next day, do I have a trade? Right there. That's my third trade. Now you look at it on the 4-hour. That's this bar anyway, right? And my drawdowns are now no longer prohibitive. So that's my third entry. Still looking to go short. And that would be somewhere here. Well, you're going to ask me why not this one, right? This is just starting the 4-hour swing. So to be careful, I can do it over here. Where was that? Right there. So that'll be my fourth entry. And then my exits show up, right? So I can say my exit here is 25, 101, 126, 300, 426, and 300. So almost like 750 pips. 5 lots. That's $38,000 almost. So that's the way to trade a long-term prop account. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye.